What's up, y'all? I just want to make this quick video here about recent news or recent rumors that apparently She-Hulk might be returning for season 2. And what do I think? You guys already know. So the first season of She-Hulk was trash. That show was very disrespectful to a lot of the characters that were in the show, including She-Hulk herself. It was disrespectful to Daredevil. And that's honestly really the main draw of why people wanted to watch She-Hulk in the first place. Because a lot of people like the Netflix Daredevil and Charlie Cox playing him. He appeared on Spider-Man No Way Home. So that was kind of like the first taste of seeing a character from a different part of the MCU show up and be in the main part of the MCU, if that makes any sense. So basically, that's kind of why I think the show had better ratings than a lot of these other shows on Disney Plus that weren't really that much better than this show. I mean, I'll say it's better than Secret Invasion because Secret Invasion was trash. There's different levels to these shows being trash. And what I like to bring up to people is that just because one show is better than the next doesn't mean it's any less trash than the other show. Secret Invasion is just a different level bad, and so is She-Hulk. She-Hulk, I feel like, was purposely trying to be bad, and you can tell like it was written by like 40-year-old wine mobs, pretty much. Terrible jokes, making fun of men. She-Hulk complaining about her being a woman and having men staring at her. That's not who the She-Hulk character was, because She-Hulk was created in the late 70s, early 80s. How I remember being introduced to this character was that she was introduced in the 90s Incredible Hulk TV show. She was in a lot of other cartoons as well too, and she was an interesting character too, because unlike the serious and dark Incredible Hulk Bruce Banner, She-Hulk, while yes, she kind of has dark moments, she pretty much is kind of like a Deadpool type of character, because later on in her story, she starts to break the fourth wall and look at the camera and say a lot of funny different things, similar to what Deadpool does. We see her do this in the show. So at the very least, the show does that. And you're probably thinking, well, if the show is so bad, I mean, what's going on? Why do you hate it so much? The feminist agenda. She-Hulk being blatantly disrespectful to a lot of the male characters in the show, including characters like the Hulk. There was a scene in which the Hulk was explaining about how to control her anger, and we all know Bruce Banner. Bruce Banner has been through a lot of trauma, and he had a lot of issues trying to control the Hulk, and it's been kind of a burden on his life because a lot of people have been trying to go after him, such as General Ross, but his cousin has had it hard. He was on the run from the military, like in the 2008 movie, and the show kind of just makes fun of that by She-Hulk saying that she can control herself better because she has a lot of guys that like to catcall her while she's in the street, so therefore she can understand how to control her anger much better than him. And it's just like, are you serious? You're talking to the Hulk right here, somebody who's always had to control his anger, and someone who has always suffered PTSD and trauma. I mean, his father was abusive in the comics. His father used to whoop his mom's ass and beat his mom, and him sometimes too. We've seen this, so it's like, how are you going to just tell that to somebody like Bruce Banner? I mean, yeah, this is MCU bitch Hulk, so maybe his origin might be a little bit different. They might try to retcon that. But aside from that, She-Hulk, they had like moments. Like there's a scene in the finale where they did like a homage to the 1970s Bill Bixby and what's that guy's name? The Bill Bixby, I forget his name right now, big dude from the 70s that played the Hulk. They had like a intro that was a homage to that, where they shot it in like 70s film or whatever, and the intro was kind of the same, like, oh, Jen Walters, who suffered who suffered gamma radiation, is now experiencing transformations that turn her into a creature known as the She-Hulk instead of the Hulk. So I thought that was kind of cool. There's actually another moment in that same finale where, and this is just another moment too, there's not really that far in between as well too, mind you. There's a moment where she kind of breaks the fourth wall and you see her grab the Disney Plus sign, like from the Disney Plus menu, and like, I don't know, you would have to watch that scene on YouTube. It is actually kind of cool. I'm gonna give them credit for that. That scene was kind of unique and cool, where she breaks the fourth wall and like she pulls herself out of the She-Hulk show and then brings herself into the Marvel studio. That scene was kind of cool. I mean, you can't deny that. And I like how when she was talking to the Kevin Feige AI thing, she was like, when are we going to have the X-Men? And winks at the camera. Because it's like, yeah, when are we going to have the X-Men? We should have had them a long time ago. So aside from all of that, I mean, She-Hulk was just not that good of a show. It was pretty much MCU trash, trashing men. I mean, it was disrespectful to other characters like Abomination. Like, Abomination is supposed to be a very serious and deadly Hulk villain, but in the She-Hulk show, they basically made him into Bruce Banner. Like, Bruce Banner they made into a bitch, and then Abomination they made into Bruce Banner pretty much. Because think about it, in She-Hulk, Abomination's whole deal is that he goes around and goes to like meetings and stuff like that and encourages people and talks to people that have trauma about facing their fears and stuff like that. And he has like a whole community that he goes to about people that are also superhuman. He turns into his Abomination form and explains people like, hey, this is who we are. Doesn't that sound like something Bruce Banner would do? Like Bruce Banner talking to people about their trauma and explaining to them that that's who they are. They basically made Hulk into a bitch, and then they made Abomination into the Hulk. Because in the comics, Abomination cannot turn back into a human, but in the MCU, he can. Which is fine, because to me, like, that kind of makes sense. Like, why is it that he has the Hulk's blood, but yet he can't turn back? He's just stuck in the Abomination form forever. So I, at the very least, kind of like the fact that Abomination can turn back and forth in between Blonsky and Abomination, but still doesn't make it right though. So season 2, as far as I'm concerned, it's gonna be trash. It's gonna be worse than the first season. And as long as these horrible writers keep writing this show and writing a lot of these our favorite superheroes, then Hollywood is going to continue to stay dead, and so will Disney. So if you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Explain to me why you think She-Hulk should not be made, or if you think it should be made, explain why. I mean, She-Hulk as a character, like in the comics and stuff like that, I actually like She-Hulk as a character. She's like a sex appeal type character too. I mean, she's fine. Like, look up some of the artwork of She-Hulk and some of the comics. But yet in the MCU, she's ugly. And then look at that scene where she was trying to twerk with Megan Thee Stallion. What? She's going to twerk with Nicki Minaj in season 2? Who are we going to get? Ice Spice next? Like, come on. This is not who She-Hulk is. She-Hulk is supposed to be a very serious attorney. Yes, she tells jokes, but they're supposed to be funny. And She-Hulk was presented as a comedy series that's not funny. So we do not need this season 2. We've been getting too many terrible shows. Go ahead and give us real shows. Give us a Fantastic Four show. Give us a X-Men show. But honestly, I'm scared of the MCU doing the X-Men. So let me know what you guys think, and I will talk to you guys later. We suck nowadays. You got Marvel movies that are horrible, and then you got DC movies that are horrible too. So it's like, damn, Marvel sucks, DC sucks. Now where do I go?
She don't wanna be saved, don't save her. 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 She don't wanna be saved.